few important points like the mantras, then their limits, are they finite, infinite, etc. We will also have the classification. Vedas, how many are they, how are they classified, why, and how are they being used. And of course, there is generally, Veda itself refers to a knowledge base per se. So we want to look at them as containers of knowledge. And there is a traditional view which is found in the Shastras, in the Veda Bhashyas, etc. And there are some recent views about this, like the Arya Samaj, Dayananda Saraswati. There are also true Vidya, modern Vidya, etc. Different kinds of classification recently we have been seeing. Aurobindo had his own view, kind of thing. Similarly, Vedas, their purpose, because this knowledge is also related to applicatory knowledge. Knowledge is something which is acquired, it is static, is one level. The second, when you are applying it for certain purpose. So, based on the purposes, Vedas generally are associated with a generic purpose called yajna. Yajna in general means any application where there is a systematic use of knowledge towards a goal which is universal, which is for all, etc. So the use of Vedas in yajnas, Vedas are motivating factors for the yajnas. And there is a Shastra called Mimamsa. I will deal with that when we go to the classification of knowledge in the Indian system. Then of course science and technology. There are two aspects. One of course is the hidden or the unknown aspect, the esoteric aspect, whereas there is also another aspect which could be linked to the day-to-day life. Okay, so nature as yajna or life process itself, these are also discussed in the Vedas. We will at least try to see Vedas and yajnas in that context. We will try to understand how many kinds of yajnas, because Bhagavad Gita also has references to different kinds of yajnas. Jnana yajna, tapo yajna, japa yajna, etc. In general today, any major activity is called as a yajna, a massive task, a huge achievement. Somebody has to do with a lot of resources, a lot of participants. So it was as good as a yajna. So this is the kind of the topics that we need to understand. We will cover them in the Vedas and yajnas. Vedas basically deal with everything as a yajna, and of course yajnas of different types. But this kind of knowledge is helpful even to, let us say, map them to today's kinds of activity. How much effort, how many people, what is the benefit, and how selfless it is possibly. If such a thing exists, then of course that will have a lot of parallel with the Vedic knowledge or the Indic knowledge. Then of course the Vedas are not easy to understand, and there are many auxiliary studies which will help in the understanding of the Vedic meanings. They are called as Vedangas. So we will deal with them. There are 6 Vedangas, and each one of them has certain aspect which will enhance our understanding of this knowledge and applying this knowledge for certain purposes. So from that angle, in there, of course, we have got in the Vedangas discussion, the syllabus tries to look at what is the Vedic context in which these Vedangas were developed, and is there a contemporary knowledge which can map to this or which can benefit out of this kind of. So we are going to look at the Shiksha, Chandas, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Kalpa, Jyotisha. Those are the 6 Vedangas. We will look at them. Then of course there are also philosophical angle to this whole knowledge. They are called darshanas. So there are various kinds of 6 darshanas in the Astikas and 6 Nastika darshanas. We will be looking at darshanas also, but more from the point of view of their relevance in today's world. Then of course there are the Vedic darshanas as well as Nastika darshanas. They are going to be listed in this. So yeah, we also have, maybe I am just wondering a little, of course 7th Vedic darshanas Spota is written in this. Anyway, it's not so popularly counted as another darshana, Spotavada of Bhartari or the Vyakarnas. Anyway, we'll just deal with them. What it is like, yes, whether it qualifies to be a darshana, is it unanimously accepted, as to be seen. 6 darshanas are, yes, they are understood, they are found in most of the texts. Then of course there are the epics. These are part of the 14 Vidyasthanas, which I am going to cover through a chart. So in that they will find a place. So these are the knowledge aspects from the practice point of view. Okay. Maybe they are related to festivals, they are related to functions, they are related to samskaras, etc. Then of course Kavyas, they have also mentioned knowledge aspects of Kavya. Yes, there is one other classification wherein the literature like poetry, prose in the literature itself, the classical literature itself, that also has a kind of knowledge. And so they will maybe come under the kalas. Okay. We will just try to look at how the traditional texts have talked about them, and today how maybe we could use them for our purpose. So the traditional classification of Indic knowledge system, Chatushashti. Yeah.
Maria, can you just turn down, meaning your face is slightly below, if you could, little bit, the camera, if it can be aligned such that, we can see more of you. Yeah, that's better.
Is this fine?
Slightly better. Yeah, that's better. Okay.
So there are also the traditional classification. It is written here Chatushashti Vidyasthanas. It is not Chatushashti Vidyasthana. Chatushashti Kala is there. Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. Because Chaturdasha Vidyasthana is what we will begin with. And Chatushashti Kalas we will have the list of them, and those relate to the arts, crafts, etc. And of course, the cleansing side is another way I find in this. There are Manas, Vak and Kaya. There are three kinds of mind, speech and body. Okay, these are three angles, and for these three, of course, there are the Shastras dealing with how to effectively use them, how to effectively improve their efficiency, etc. So, yeah, these are kinds of aspects I would like to see, since this is listed in the preferred content for the course. We will stick to this. There is nothing wrong, and as much as we can cover, we will see. And of course, I will also give some material, plus we will have some discussion if possible. If some interactivity is possible, we could also hear from the participants. And I find, of course, towards the end, it is written about, Vedic health, wellness science is the Ayurveda, linguistics is the Vyakarana kind of study, mathematics is found in Chanda, Sudha Sutras kind of. Aesthetics is, of course, the Alankara Shastra. Science of logic, Nyaya Shastra, of course, it also has metaphysics, not only the logic part. Yes, it has the ontological classification of objects in the world. Then, of course, Vedic science of public administration. Yeah, Arthashastra, it also has economics in that. Arthashastra has both aspects, administration as well as economical thoughts or concepts. Then, of course, psychology should come from, yes, Yoga, Upanishad. In general, Vedas also have this aspect. Vedas have three layers. One of the layers is the Adhyatmika layer. There are, of course, other two. One is Adi Bhautika, which is the physical plane. There is also a divine plane in between. And the third plane, which is the philosophical or the Adhyatmic one. So the Yogas, Upanishads, yes, they deal with both. Things related to maybe like wellness, etc., or mind control. But beyond that, through that as a tool, what to achieve. Okay, then there is something like a final goal. And then, of course, ethics. This is from Dharma Shastra, no doubt. Yes. So let us also look at this kind of thing, and the way, of course, they are found in practice. It could be through maybe some field work possible. I have some idea to at least introduce to the participant one of the sources of such ancient knowledge, that is through the palm leaves and the kind of words that have been handed down by tradition. Okay. So we'll look at some of them to at least see how we go from here, from this introductory course, to be able to participate in some aspect of the knowledge-related endeavor that we all want to be doing. Okay. And maybe, of course, you can also apply it to your own fields. Like I was hearing last time, Farida was trying to mention that she's a yoga instructor and then is interested in seeing how these concepts could be applied. So similarly, others can also find. Psychology students were saying last time, of course, they want to understand the mind aspects, the details which may help them in their profession. So that could be the last item where maybe we could find the sources to apply them through some practical work. Okay. So roughly fine, this is the contents thing that were sent, and we would like to cover how in depth, let us see. So that depends on time availability, the kind of interactions that we have. Plus, of course, I have some material I have thought of in some form, but we can keep modifying as we go along. Okay, so today what we didn't do is, I have introduced these two words last time, Vidya and Jnana, which of course basically is about discrimination, a person knowing what is good in the universal sense, what could benefit most kind of people, including self, society, and beyond. Let us say it could even be the environment, nature, etc. We don't affect anything. We are able to help something. So these are two angles we should be looking at. Ishta and Anishta are the two ways we should be able to achieve what we are interested in with no or minimal effect to others. At least the negative aspect should not be there, kind of. So we should be conscious of these two angles. Okay. So from that point of view, this vidya or jnana has been said to liberate a person, let to benefit. Sa vidya ya vimuktaye is one of the statements that is used in the Shastra. A vidya or a source of knowledge is that which will liberate a person, will not bind a person, or it would not create any impediment to anyone. It should be helpful to all, or at least most. This is the basic beginning. Then, of course, we come to the other kind of the words used like knowledge, skills, arts. Yeah, we should be now trying to look at a little into this angle. Today, we refer to a person as a knowledgeable person. What do we actually mean? Is one issue. There is also a word, let us say, a person is a learned person or an erudite person. Now, this knowledge can be across domains. In some domains, it could be quite shallow. It may even refer to data, information kind of level. Whereas in some other context, it could mean applying that knowledge, contemplating on the knowledge, trying to improvise or trying to make it more useful. So if that angle is part of it, then of course it comes close to this jnanam or vidya used in the Indic side. In fact, one important test for this is who is the beneficiary and does somebody know by some of his actions he is benefiting someone who is not known to him. One simple example is this, palm leaf kind of thing. Whom is it addressed to? Or trying to create a repository of knowledge, an unknown beneficiary, if he is the goal of our activity, that is, you are not interested in who would use it. You are still interested in saying, this is useful, someone will find it helpful. But let me, as a duty, see that this is protected, this is available. Now, this is in some sense a kind of sacrifice kind of thing. We do not expect a return. We are not so much concentrating on, if I do this, what do I get? If I don't do this, what do I lose? If that thinking is not coming in, see, I am fortunate or lucky to have something. I owe this to somebody, and let me also see that I perpetuate this. I just want to put in two basic concepts that are characterizing knowledge in general in the Indic systems, that is vidya or jnana. Two important aspects. One is gratitude, that we received this from someone who could not have been compelled to share this with us, but out of compassion it has been shared to us. So we can't do anything more but be grateful to them. This is one aspect. In fact, our traditional namaste that we actually greet a person when you meet just tries to say, I bow down to you, I recognize, I understand. Each one of the members of the society have been instrumental in trying to see that we preserve something, we propagate something without any interest about who is the beneficiary. So the gratitude is one thing that is built in. Vedas also begin with Namah Paramarishibhya, Namah Paramarishibhya. We are all grateful to all the Maharshis. Many of them are not known, but still their effect, their work is available to us. So this knowledge has grown. It has getting strengthened over generations without any expectation of anything in return. All that we can do is we should be grateful. But then how do we show our gratitude is that we also see that it reaches someone. You got this from someone, you also hand this over as a baton. And the second point is of course humility. Along with gratitude, we also are are taught to be humble if you are knowledgeable. Vidya dadati vinayam is one of the standard statements. If a person is a Vidyavan or Vidyavati, then he is expected to behave in a humble way. In very simple terms, it means there are always people who are better than us, who are more knowledgeable than us, more useful, more experienced, more wise than us. Then what happens is our behavior gets conditioned to be humble, to be useful, to be wanting to improve or learn more, or not think that we know everything. Basically, it is to avoid arrogance. It is basically to avoid a kind of hostile attitude or a kind of know-all attitude. Most rishis have also mentioned we don't know beyond certain things, but we always bow down to those who know more than us. So, in the Upanishads, we find many episodes. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is full of such question answers in an assembly of scholars in the court of sage king Janaka. So there are many people who ask questions and then answering, and they ask and then others answer. Sometimes there is no answer and the questioner himself answers, etc. That scenario is only to bring to fore knowledge is something infinite, it is inexhaustible. No one can at any stage say he has reached the end of something. So knowledge for knowledge's sake, when we talk about our education, when we talk about, it should make a person grateful to all the sources of knowledge that has benefited him, directly, indirectly, to whom he can acknowledge or he can't also. Nature also is a good teacher, and we rarely acknowledge or talk about this. But yes, we are beneficiaries of such diverse sources from where we, of course, keep on getting the knowledge, updating, etc. So we need to be grateful is one important aspect. Second, we need to be humble at all times. Assume everyone else to be more knowledgeable than you. In that sense, the Vidya or Jnana words we are comfortable in using because Jnana is something that makes people feel bowing down to their teachers, masters, better off people. Namanti phalita vrikshaha, namanti cha buddha janaha. This is one statement. If a tree is full of ripe fruits, it bends down due to the weight of the ripe fruit. Namanti phalitaha vrikshaha, buddha janascha namanti. This is one of the reasons we say namaste or namaskar or whatever when you meet the other person. We acknowledge there is the same divine fragility among every individual, every being, and it can manifest ways. We are interested in benefiting out of from any source, any way that we can improve from our current position, go one notch up, etc. So this namana or namaskara or bowing down, the dhatu also means bowing down. Nama prahvatte shabdecha. This is the dhatu Panini uses. Namati, namata, namanti. When you have this word, it has two meanings. One, of course, is the name. Nama also comes from nama, this root, but that is in the sense when you actually salute your teacher. When you do namaskara to the teacher, you are also expected to do abhivadanam. There you have to use your name to introduce yourself. Then of course this nama also comes after namana, abhivadana, or telling about one's lineage or official introduction. But the basic meaning is nama prahvatve shabdeta. Prahva is the word which means someone bending down, bowing down. This is only because we should acknowledge, yes, there are better knowledgeable people, better useful people to society, better wise people, kind of. So Vidya, of course, as I said, Vidya dadati vinayam. Of course, vinaya makes you a good to be of use to various people in various ways. So that helps you to finally find a good vocation, a source of earning maybe, and ultimately to reach happiness. So Vidya Jnana, when they are related to information at the basic level, but beyond that, its structure, its concept, then its practice, and our disposition towards those who hold better knowledge, etc. So that you can always be thirsting for more and more. So education is this process in general wherein somebody starts at some level and keeps on adding delta x in every interaction, every kind of endeavor that he does. Each thing teaches him something. Mahabharata has a list of 108 teachers, which includes many birds, insects, animals, etc. Apart from, of course, known sources, but nature also, like sun is said to be a source of knowledge. Similarly, the stars, the other sources of the elements in different forms, etc. Water, kind of water, air, all of them. So, in some sense, the knowledge that is holistic, comprehensive, or exhaustive. This is something that is covered by the concept. Veda, of course, is also meaning knowledge, but Veda also has much more connotation. We will take next. But Veda is full of different vidyas, different kinds of jnana. Kala, of course, is referring more close to the skills or the arts that we have been now talking about. There are 64 kalas listed. I will also share one kind of. There is one website, if possible, if I am able to open that up, I will try to see. We have put this into a place where maybe somebody can look at it at leisure or maybe go through, contemplate and come back for interaction. So we just have a list of this 64 kalas. Okay. Generally, these are the words. Vidya, of course, is at a little higher level. It can also include meditation, or it can include the upasana or the philosophical kind of inner thinking. Vidya generally is for, jnana generally is for interaction among various people. Discussion, analysis, understanding, then conceptualizing. Kala is, so these are the three layers possibly. I'll just come back to the presentation that I was using last time. So in that, yeah, there is one where I just tried to, of course, these slokas are the ones that I used last time. Next one, of course, is something like this. So this is in English. The knowledge base, let us say, should contain both textual as well as experiential. But the textual ones are the ones which are much easily handled. We can at least understand them. In this, I have written, see, three levels of learning are identified. The first level, of course, is experience, or consciously understanding, living through some aspect of life. So that is upasana, is the Sanskrit word. Vidya, vidyas are the upasana. Jnana also has a vidya, so we have apara and para vidyas as the adjective to them. Jnana is the second level, that is knowledge. This may be called something like pure sciences. And the third level is the kala, which could be the skills or the applied science. Okay. Accordingly, the shastras dealing with these are called as the vidya level. Paravidya is only the upasanas or the internal inward looking. Apara vidya or jnana, those are equivalent. They have these Vedas, the shastras, etc. Then the kala. So these are the three levels. Paravidya or Brahmavidya, it is also called as Brahmavidya. Those are 32 of them. They are listed in the Upanishads. So that is for achieving liberation from bondage. Okay. That is self-realization, meditation, etc. So this is based on the scriptural text. Okay. These are, of course, covered by Brahma Sutras of Vyasa. The second level is the Aparavidya or also called Jnana. The Shastras, these are the other words to that. Shastras, Aparavidya or Jnana layer. This has 14 Vidyasthanas. This is what we were mentioning about. Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. This includes 4 Vedas, 6 Vedic auxiliary sciences called as Vedangas, and 4 supplementary disciplines to help these Vedangas called Upangas. So 4 plus 6 plus 4 makes it 14. Because I have some chart which can be of use. People can go through in different ways. I have put that up in the same presentation. The Angas and Upangas of the Vedas are to be used for the proper interpretation of the Vedic text to understand the different aspects of knowledge. Because Vedas happen to be a repository of various knowledge, and it leads to various attainments. You can have material benefits, you can also have spiritual benefits. And there are also 4 phases. This is something which is found for the applicational purposes. What do we do with this knowledge? Then one is first learning. Learning itself is a goal. Then reflecting on what you have learned, contemplating on it. Then practicing it. And of course, propagating Fine. So these four different stages send a purpose to a person to be knowledgeable. Then the kalas or the applied sciences, these are numbering 64. These cover various fine arts and crafts, classical literature, medicine, engineering, technology, sculpture, architecture, aesthetics, gemology, metallurgy, meteorology. Because we just have that list. This covers various such vocations or professions. So if you would like to call them professional knowledge, etc. So this should come under applied sciences or this kala kind of thing. Vidyanya, Shilpa, Naipunam. In fact, Krishna also mentions in Gita, Shilpa. Shilpa Naipuna is something like you are good in sculpture, you are good in architecture, etc. These are other vidyas. Whereas Sa Vidya Ya Vimuktaye, when we mentioned earlier, that one which liberates you from bondage is the Paravidya, the highest Vidya kind. So from this kind of a background, I think yes, this just puts it out in one chart. Anubhava, Adhyayana, Abhyasa are the processes. The first column tells you can only experience. Anubhava means experience. There is no interaction. Upasana is the level of knowledge. What it is formally called is Paravidya. The second layer is this Jnanam layer, because we are only going to concentrate on this Jnanam for all textual things, where you can have discussion, analysis, etc. So there are also texts for this Kala, but they are more like tools for actually working with it. Something like a user manual for an appliance, whereas this is theoretical, Jnanam part. So here Adhyanam is the method. You study, you interact, you discuss, contemplate, etc. These are called Apara Vidyas. Then the third layer is this Kala. It's also called Kaushalam. Skill that we are mentioning is also, you become Kushala in something. That is the Kaushalam you achieve. There are 64 of them. And this comes by practice. So Abhyasa is the method here. So this is also put in English in case somebody cannot read Devanagari. So Anubhava, Jnana, Abhyasa, Upasana, Jnana, etc. Okay, so yeah, this for where is this set? If somebody wants to know, yes, there are 14 Vidyasthanas mentioned both in Mahabharata by Vyasa and by Yajnavalkya in his Smriti. So these two, Purana, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Dharma Shastra, Anga Mishritaha, Vedaha, Sthanani, Vidyayaha, Dharmasya cha Chaturdasha. So they are called Vidyasthanas or as Dharmasthanas also. They also help you. They are a handle towards higher spiritual elevation also, higher evolution of the person. This is Yajnavalkya is saying the same thing. Angani. Angani includes those 6 angas. Vedas Chattaraha, Mimamsa, Nyaya Vistaraha, Puranam, Dharma Shastrancha, Vidya Hetas Chaturdasha. So this actually makes us come to the heading that 14 Vidyasthanas. I'll just try to list them out here. And some, like from the arts, etc., the last, outside the box, if you see, Prakiranam is the word that I gave, miscellaneous kind of thing. We could build a lot of useful applications applying this knowledge, like Alankara Shastra, that is the classical literature. There could be local languages also. There are so much of rich material in all our individual languages. So they should not be called regional languages. We should call them vernaculars or popular languages. Then of course one can build a lot of presentations to help interactions. There are a set of texts called the lexicons, the koshas, etc., like Amar Kosha, translation, etc. These are some of the things that somebody can undertake by having a systematic knowledge of the Indic knowledge base. Okay. Of course, this includes a little more detail. The Vedangas, meaning if you assume the Vedas in the form of a human structure, then the Shiksha or the phonetics is like the nose, Vyakarana or the grammar is the mouth through which one speaks, Chandas Shastra or the prosody or the metrics that deals with poetry, verses. This is the feet. It gives the rhythm for the movement. Then Niruttam is one Shastra which is about the etymological meaning, how words acquire their meaning from every syllable onwards. So these are the ears of the Veda Purusha. Jyotisha is the astronomical aspect. This is like the eyes of, if you assume the Veda in the form of a Purusha. And then of course the hands are the Kalpa Shastra, which helps you actually do something, produce something. Because the Upangas or Mimamsa, Puranas, all the epics, they are all the 18 Puranas, they are all put under this. Itihasa also come under this, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. Nyaya Shastra, then of course Dharma Shastra. These are at the Upanga level. Of course, the Prakirnas that I had put, this is not part of the Shastric classification. This is just some example, just to illustrate. And of course, I have tried to list. This is in Sanskrit now. We'll at different times maybe we'll come back to this. There is one full topic about the Vedic context and the contemporary context. So at that time we will take up this. 14 Vidyasthanas, what do they do? I've been just written in one line here. This we will cover when we also want to compare them with today's knowledge level. So this Chaturdashi Vidyasthanas is also put in. Of course, this is more just a little more different way of saying the whole thing. It's not much to add. Similarly, this also is at different times I had used. Of course, here I have tried to put the Vidyanya Shilpa Naipunam, some quotes which will help you. Yes, it will understand at different levels. This has been taught at different texts. Then, okay. Yeah, I have this list of okay, this can be seen from the website and we are able to handle it. Just see that. So what is important is, yeah, this is one place where it is actually mentioned. The 4 phases that I said, that you learn, you reflect upon it, practice and then propagate. This is found in the Naishadha Kavya. Naishadha is one of the Mahakavyas in Sanskrit. There, talking about the hero of that Kavya, Nala Maharaja, he was such a well-learned person that he was a Sushikshita is mentioned in this sense. Adhiti bodha acharana pracharanaihi dashaha chatasraha pranayan upadhibhihi chaturdashatvam kritavan kutasvayam navedmi vidyasu chaturdashasvayam. In fact, this Kavi has used double meanings for the word Chaturdasha. We said there are 14 Vidyasthanas, 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas and 4 Upangas. This 14 referred by the word Chaturdasha is given a different angle by this Kavi here. If there are 4 dashas to something, if there are 4 phases of knowledge, it can also be called as Chaturdasha. It has 4 dashas. In that sense, he has used, Nala had the knowledge of 14 Vidyasthanas, but he made them again Chaturdasha. That is the way the Kavi says, Chaturdashatvam kritavan kutasvayam navedmi vidyasa Chaturdasha swayam. The Vidyasa Chaturdasha always, but this Nala made them Chaturdasha again. I don't know why. That is the way the sloka actually means. But the intention is, in every one of the Vidyasthanas, he had 4 clear phases. Adhyayana, that is learning. Adhiti. Bodha, that is one's own contemplation or manana. Then Acharana, he followed. Then of course Pracharana, taught to people or tried to say that he created facilities for others to learn, etc. So this learning, contemplating, understanding, then of course practicing and then propagating has been brought out as another Chaturdashatva. So that is something which makes us realize the importance or the value. How to study and then how not to stop at any given stage. Then of course I have just put this 14 years and
so that the how to do the acharana is also delineated for each of the shastra, each of these.
This is the next chart. That is one of the reasons I was trying to see. See this, the Vidyasthana category, the form, the aspect, the details. This is where I just tried to put this into one chart. So here what we can find is the applications or how to actually see that as this is useful to a person. Okay, so even Vedas among them have their own special aspects, something that is unique to each Veda. Rigveda is unique in some sense, Yajurveda in another, Samveda in another like. So this is what I have just tried to put in there. Yeah, this is what we would like to use for the relevance today. Or when we want to discuss the contemporary context, I'll just use this chart and there is of course this Sanskrit statement that I have used earlier in the previous slide. Yeah, this slide. See, this is the Sanskrit way of defining the Chaturdashi Vidyasthana. I have put this into an English chart which should at least map today's situation. So this is what I would like to do towards that one topic that we have, one unit of this subject in this paper, is to look at what was the original Vedic context and in the contemporary context, how much of it we can benefit or how much we can map or compare. That stage we will try to take this. I'll just run through an overview so that at least we'll see related to the syllabus that we wanted to cover. maybe do you have enough material, or maybe I will also prepare some more as it goes along. Okay? So this was something which we used in the course that we ran in ISC. So from there I am just trying to see some of them can be found relevant here. Okay? So after this, of course, the Aparavidyas, they are listed here. This is something which is the details aspect of this. Each Veda, what does it do? Each Vedanga, what does it deal with? Each Upanga, what does it do? So these are the details basically. And I just want to see, maybe I can even upload this PPT into the site if possible. Then
You can put it in the
sorry?
Yeah, you can put it in the same place under the course as a post. I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called a post.
Yeah, I'll maybe once we stop, I'll just know this and put this up so that okay, one can have leisurely facility to go through. Okay, what was it? If something is not got well, also it is possible to refresh or come back. Okay? And there is one thing which I had built. This is what I wanted to mention. Sakala Shastra Sutra Kosha. This was the compendium of all sutras that I had prepared, and this is available today now. The site that we have. So this will give the complete details about how in-depth somebody would like to do or go through. And it's also useful to take up some of the computational points, etc. We can address based on this kind. Then, of course, the language technology, I also want to say it's not to be limited to Sanskrit alone. It could be extended to all Indian languages. So in some sense, if we want to look at, yes, we will have some additions coming up uniquely from different language sources. But yes, there could be a common structure to which maybe we can put all this so that we find relevance and maybe portability, compatibility, etc. So these are some of the things that we wrote, and you had also made some of these in the Jnanavapi presentation also. So let us try to look at it. Some of them can help us in the practice aspect, in the actually propagation aspect, preservation aspect. We can look at this kind of issue. Then of course some examples that I had taken, if you want to analyze some word in Sanskrit, maybe a flowchart kind of thing can be built, all that. Yeah. So anyway, this is about the Sutra Kosha, etc. was built, was to be shown. Okay. These are some just statements kind of thing. This is okay. Most people know, or if someone wants to have, let us say, put in somewhere, let us at least have them kind of. It's a priceless possession kind of thing. One can. How do you feel? Proud about your on the system? Yes, there are some people who have done some good papers on these, etc. This is much earlier. I am talking about 30 years ago also, when this whole field started. Different people took well-considered approach. So that is how we are where we are today. Yeah, I think at this stage, let us at least see, is there any addition to
you are muted for some reason. I'm sure.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. I think while going through the cursor, it just made me. Yeah. Now I'm audible, isn't it? I'm just wanting to see. Is there anything that we should also hear? Some kind of the two-way thing is needed. I don't know how to slowly bring it in and look at. So the interaction is the most important part. Though of course I'm not able to be in person. That will definitely make a world of difference. But let's see, given what we have, what best we can. Is there some way somebody can interact?
Yes, of course. Others, Farida has a question.
Yeah. Let us come. And is there any video where at least you can see the person asking question?
Oh yes. Once.
You can become the presenter, is it? Then in that case, maybe
yes.
Yeah. So we'll slowly have to build this system. It is needed at some point or other, in spite of the person being available in person. Most times it may not be, so we will have some scheme which is at least 5% better than what it is today. Then that will be nice.
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
So my question is, when you spoke in the beginning and you told us about Vidya and knowledge, and the purpose of all knowledge is to be liberated, to feel liberated, to liberate the soul. That would be the eventual purpose.
Yeah, that is coming much later. Yeah, see, in a person's life also.
And then you told us about
ultimate is that. Ultimate is that.
humility and all that.
Yes, yeah, gratitude and humility, they are helpful at every stage, and slowly they make a person reach better and better evolution in his own journey. That of course the final goal, ultimate of course, maybe it is not even reached, but the goal of course is the liberation. It's not that anybody reaches that or things like it, but yes, that is the goal. We need to set a good goal, worthy goal, and that is the reason, yes, we find. See, liberation is something where there's nothing much left to do except to be in that state. And it's very rarely encountered in real life.
Go ahead.
Sir, we are coming back from the Vedic period to 2017.
Yeah, sure.
Where there is a mad rush.
Yes.
Every student, every child is running for material gains.
Sure.
Every person. Huh?
Yes.
Now, where to, and even the teachers are running for the same thing.
Yes.
Majority. Let us be honest, in universities over the world, in institutes,
Yes.
everybody has to run their everything.
Yeah, that is the starting point for this course.
Everybody cannot, all teachers and every child is not unable to get this sort of mental discipline and training, that everything that you gain is just a little bit. Others are more knowledgeable than you. Like what you're talking in this Vedas was good in that period. I mean, I'm asking you, how do you inculcate in today's 2017? Unless we individually can inculcate for ourselves.
So you are saying Vedas are not relevant today, they were useful at the earlier time. That's what you want to say.
Today, it's relevant for lifetime.
Yes.
But nobody, I mean, it's
What
very...
I wanted to do is, let us first understand, there was a time when people were not having this mad rush. They were not in the rat race. At that time, something was relevant. And today, we see the rat race everywhere around. So you are wanting to ask the question, is that relevant today? Am I right? Have I understood what you are wanting to say?
To an extent, yes. If a person says, I want to liberate myself, I want knowledge.
No, such a person, there is no issue. Okay, let us talk only about those whom we want to influence or want to make them think about or provide an alternative. See, I would look at it this way. People are doing something, it could even be for want of an alternative. Suppose you ask a child, why are you going to school? What else should I do? All others of my age are doing this, so let me also do this. This could also be one of the things that one does not think about for himself, just trying to follow blindly what others are doing. Kind of a herd mentality. Okay. Even today, I find in many of those who take engineering or medical, etc. Why do you go for medicine or engineering? When I ask you, that's what everyone does, or everyone worthy of mention does, kind of. If you cannot do, then you do something else. That has become the kind of norm. This is what I find from people giving as a justification to do something what others are doing. So, it's not that fine. In today's world, whatever people want to do, they are successful in it. That is not there. But yes, the endeavor, the efforts are towards a direction where they all assume if they become successful, they are done. Or that is ideal, kind of. But why we have this course fundamentally is that because we have such a situation today, what are the solutions towards this? Then this is one of the external factors maybe that could come in. Of course, this is only for those who have at least some time, maybe 5 minutes to allocate to listen to a person. Otherwise, it is not possible. Someone is rushing and then is not going to stop. But slowly, one in a lakh can be there at the beginning. But still, that is the way things change over a period in the society. And this has been true at all times. There is nothing like a Vedic time when people are only concentrating on liberation. It is never there. In fact, there is a very, very blunt statement in the Mimamsa Shastra. There were never good times. At all times, people were saying there were earlier times which were good. This is the standard statement made in Mimamsa. Na kadachit anidrisham jagat. The world has never been unlike what it is today. It has always been like this. People have been grumbling, saying there were good times and then we are missing them, kind of. This has happened even during Krita Yuga. This is the statement in Mimamsa, which is very much true. Okay. So the point is not that we don't have to be bogged down by this kind of a feeling. No one is going to listen to us. Veda Vyasa has had this experience. Vyasa was the person who put in all the knowledge in various forms possible. The one who divided the Vedas into four, then taught it to students, who wrote Mahabharata, who wrote Brahma Sutra, wrote the Puranas. Veda Vyasa says, I have been crying for people's attention, and no one is wanting to pay attention to me what I am saying. They have been running after material benefits. This from the words from the mouth of Vyasa I am saying. So there is nothing new, nothing shocking, nothing surprising. Except that the solution has always been the same way. Okay.
Because sir, I have taken a class of 17-year-old boys just recently. I asked them what is their goal. Now they don't listen to the word goal. They say my ambition is to become a doctor. My ambition is to become a mass media journalist. My ambition is to become an engineer. And then I said, then what is your goal? I want to become rich and happy. I want to become rich and happy. All of them had this mindset.
Yes.
I want to become rich and happy.
Fine. Yeah, but fine. They have to be. We also have the same issue with say, our own children. Suppose we want to put them into some stream, and then they have become independent enough, or they have enough sources of information, so they are able to think for themselves. And what they said is 100% true. The word used today is ambition. The word used, of course, to be rich and happy. Except that, yes, see, there is. I am only reminded of this kind of a satiric statement. Young men think that old men are fools, and old men know that young men are fools. This is a kind of statement. Yes, everyone starts in some way and matures over a period. Most important aspect is the realization. Realization comes by experience. And experience basically of failures. Experience of failures makes a person, of course, more realistic. Okay. No doubt, people have some rare examples which is being maybe shown every day towards them, so that they are expected to believe. Okay, they will be rich and happy. In fact, those two also don't go together. Is something maybe will be realized much later. If you are rich, does not mean you are happy. Is rich and happy one issue or two issues itself? Fine, they will realize later. Ambition also. Ambition alone is not enough. But I would put it in a very short form, two words to use, which of course I relish when my teacher told me this. See, when you want to desire, aspire for something, have ambition for something, there is one preceding step that one should have. He used to put these two words in that sequence, desire, deserve and then desire. If you first deserve and then desire, you will not have disappointment. This is what was taught. Of course, this is some kind of an essence of what your question should be answered as. No doubt, you have an ambition, but you need to deserve to achieve what you want to achieve. To become rich or happy, or rich and happy, it is important that one deserves to be rich, deserves to be happy. And today the gap comes only there. So a lot of disappointments we find. We also hear many suicides now at the professional courses. It's mainly because the ambition and reality do not match. Right? So nothing wrong in their current position, but all that we need as elders or teachers or well-wishers, parents, whatever. Our point is to slowly also bring in an alternative. Suppose something fails, don't be disheartened, don't give up, or don't think that is the end of the life, kind of thing. So to be prepared for the other side as well, as much as success, failure as well. So this is what the Shastras put together. That is where we require the humility or the gratitude. If we can look at others, if you can look for help from outside or strengthen yourself inside, then of course that will solve this issue. That is where we have to actually start. Yes, today's world, no one is looking at this side, but it is up to us to really see where do they go wrong in their assumptions. There are a lot of assumptions in this ambition and becoming rich and happy. We need to only caution, we need to only prepare them to be able to see if it's a thing worth achieving, provided they can cope up with that, they can become competent towards that. We should only try to caution them. Shortcuts do not take them to any permanent results. And today we find in most cases, like going through the coaching classes or going through the guides or notes, etc., other than the textbooks or other than the concepts. So that lands them sooner or later into disappointments. So no doubt, ambition is worthwhile. Becoming rich and happy is what also is told in the Vedas for everyone. But it also cautions that you deserve. Be ensuring that you are able to achieve, then you will not face any difficulty. So for that we have so many ways shown, so many examples shown, so that it tempers the ambition, it tempers the desire of a person to take to a deserving mode. Yeah, that is something, yes, we need to achieve. That is what knowledge actually contributes to a person. Gives him realization, makes him mature, makes him understand what is in his reach and what is not in his reach, and so prepare accordingly. Okay, so that is the way I think we should handle that. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So I have one question. So what is the modern way of looking at knowledge relative to the Chaturdasha Vidyasthana model that you mentioned? So how do they compare in a nutshell? Is it possible to explain that?
Yeah. So I will use two words for the two approaches. See, we are aware of the top down and bottom up as the words used in the modern world, in today's parlance. So the Vedas have this top down approach, and today's world more goes with bottom up. Okay, there's nothing wrong, but you need a proper basis. In the bottom up, the only danger is not comprehending the whole to sufficient amount of detail, which will ensure we don't go wrong or we don't have wrong assumptions. Okay? The other side, of course, has a negative side. The Vedic, the top down has a negative side. Unless you exhaustively go ahead, you may not reach anywhere. You may not achieve anything. If you give up in between or somewhere. Okay? So one side, yes, there is the foundation strong. The other side, the structure is there, but we need both. And so how much, in what proportion, etc. It depends, of course, what one wants to achieve. How shallow or deep is the goal. That might decide that. Yes, here, of course, we begin with the ontology. We begin with the cognition onwards, language, logic, cognition. These are kind of the starting points. Vedas always have this question: King Karanam, Brahma, Kutasma Jataha, Jivama Kena, Kvacha Sampratishta, Adhichita Kena, Sukhetareshu Vartamahe, Brahmavido Vyavastham. So the Brahmavadis or the rishis started with questions and then started finding results to them through contemplation, to tapas, etc. And of course, that's a very long process. Because the benefit of that over a period of time accrues, and then today, yes, we have the backing of a lot of our ancestral work, no doubt about it. But still, it is rigorous and time consuming. There's no doubt about it. Anything quick, immediate, shortcut kind of thing has the possibility of not grounded well in the basis. Okay, that's the possibility. But we need a kind of golden combination, some of that and some of this for various purposes or various domains. Possibly, yes. To see, yes, we can bootstrap and finally come up with an optimal combination. Yeah?
Okay, I have a question. May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Sandeep.
Please Sandeep here. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I have my questions. My question has two streams. The first stream is I would like to understand from you our ancient system of education. How prior to the British era, what was the system of providing the education? Like from the knowledge streams that you have, from the sources that you have just touched upon today, how was the system designed and how was education being propagated? Number one, that is the first stream. And the second stream is it possible to touch upon or master, or even master, let's say, to some extent, all the sources of knowledge, of the Indic knowledge? If not, then how was the specialization being done? What was the mode of specialization in earlier times, before the British introduced their system of education? So these are the two streams of my question, please. Are my questions relevant enough?
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's not sure. Yes, we should be able to look at models, at least not different models, and then maybe discuss their merits, demerits, applicability, relevance. Yeah.
So the purpose of my question is to understand the system of looking at Indic sources prior to the current conventional education system.
Yes. Yeah, that is fine. That is worthwhile doing. Though, of course, we don't have an exact account. There is not much available in the literature. There is not available much in the literature as to how someone in some place taught someone, etc. Maybe those records are lost. Possible. It could have been documented, but then we do not have access to much of them. We really do not have even one single case. Let's say the Nalanda, Takshashila kind of thing. We really do not know what was actually taught, who were the teachers, who were the students, how many, what, etc. But there is a kind of circumstantial evidence, from which maybe we should try to reconstruct. However much we can do, and maybe it won't be complete. Yes, so the first question that you asked, the system of education is not like today's system of education. In the sense, it was not that everyone had to go through a formal educational system at all. It was more aptitude based. No, bluntly saying, education was not for all just like that, as a policy or as a fundamental right. It's not like right to education. And this is important. This is important to consider. See, in an academic course, it is worth knowing. Yes, there are pluses and minuses of certain system. Something that is need based and something that is just followed blindly. Fine. People can be educated, but not formally. See, these 14 Vidyasthanas were rarely learned by anybody at any time in history. But benefit of all the 14 Vidyasthanas were available to every member of the society. These are two things that are very, very important.
Correct.
You had some who had expertise, but they were benefiting the entire society. It is enough if you have a good lawyer to fight your case, rather than you being proficient in the whole nuances of law or the jurisprudence. Okay. Similarly, even today it happens. One cannot be knowing himself or having first-hand knowledge in all that he uses in his life. It is not possible. Including our own digestive system. You eat something, you don't have it digested properly. You go to an expert who is good in the treatment of that system. Fine. It is similar. Yeah, it is similar even with education. I don't have the knowledge. I'll approach someone who has the knowledge. There could be a small set of people who only regard the knowledge as their own duty, nothing more. Not for returns, not for encashing, etc. In fact, in the Mahabhashya of Patanjali, he makes a good mention. Panini, when he wrote the grammar, for whom was the grammar written? Was one question that he raises in his commentary. And he simply says, Panini has been a keen observer of the usage of the shishtas. Shishta, as the word in Sanskrit, is a learned person, a person behaving the way he is expected to as per his learning. So like the 4 phases that we said, suppose someone has undergone those 4 phases. You just learn from the behavior or the usage of a person of that stage. If you can reach the stage, fine, then you will also be one of the benefactors to society, otherwise be a beneficiary. But then he mentions there, who does qualify to be a shishta? The definition of shishta is little frightening. Today maybe we will have no shishtas as per the definition. It's only saying a person who does not worry about where his next meal comes from, he has an expertise in one of the branches of these 14 branches of knowledge, kasachit shastrasya paradarshi, alolupaha meaning kumbhidhanaha is the word that is used. It is a Dharmashastra related word. People have to have a small kumbha or a kalash which will hold enough cereals, dhanya, for one time meal. They will only carry this and for that time cook, eat and forget about the next time. If you live, if you are wherever you are, get for the next time for that much alone, then carry on similarly. So you have no accumulations, you have no worries about how to protect something or how to achieve something or how to amass something. This is not there. But your job alone is, my guru gave me some knowledge, let me hand it over to someone who is found fit or suitable. But all the time I am available for consultation. Such people, see, that is where, for the sake of dharma, that is the word he uses. For the sake of dharma is some one person exists. There is a good analogy he gives. You don't need many sun for the world. One sun is enough when he rises in the morning. Why do you aspire to become another sun? It's not needed. But under the sun's light, whatever could be done, there are innumerable things to do. You achieve something of much, you used to, let us say, a smaller set of people, community or group, family, whatever. Maybe he uses the word gramas, etc. So the idea was, you don't expect just the moment a child is born, don't worry about where to put him, which school, which college or which stream or how, which IIT, etc. This is not the way education has to be planned for. Simply because we don't know the aptitude. And a person without an aptitude will be a misfit and maybe will face disappointment at some stage. So the second part of your question is, if specialization is needed. Yes, Shastras do have both angles. There is a difference between Shastra Grantha per se, which has got Sutras, Vartikas, Bhashya, etc. This is the basic Shastra, which is full, in-depth and quite exhaustive. There are also the procedures called Prakarana Granthas in all the Shastras. That is, even if a person wants to study Nyaya, he needs to know the Prakaranas of Vyakarana, Mimamsa, Vedanta, etc. That is, working knowledge and expertise. These were two different things. So, a person can choose one stream.
Kanchan, माझा चार्जर आहे ना पटकन आठवून.
Sorry? Are you able to hear?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So there is a two level in all Shastras. There is a Prakarana Grantha. See, Tarka Sangraha is a Prakarana Grantha of Nyaya Shastra. Somebody studying Vyakarana doesn't have to have the whole Nyaya Sutra, Bhashya, Vartika, etc. understood thoroughly. But he will get the basic tenets of the system in what are called the Prakarana Granthas in every Shastra. If you can roughly say, let us say, the Lavsiddhanta Kaumudi is a Prakarana Grantha of Vyakarana for one not specializing in Vyakarana, studying, let us say, Mimamsa, Nyaya or Vedanta, but needs to have enough knowledge so that he can handle the grammatical aspects required for his domain of expertise. So, every Shastra, even in the Vedas, there is something like Upayukta Adhyayana. Today we find, let us say, people have certain basic things learned. That is necessary to at least be capable of doing your Nityakarmas without Lopa, without Akshara, Swara, Bhresha, etc. So, there is a level of Shastra which has Sutras, Artikas, Bhashyas, and then their elaborations one side. It also has another level of Vada Granthas, that is to establish your system, to demolish another system, etc. So, an expert will have different layers or different levels to achieve, whereas a novice can also have working knowledge, and this working knowledge has been prepared in all the Shastras. There are texts which deal with the Prakarana Granthas or the Nibandhana Granthas. You choose one stream, go in depth. For the rest of them, you get this knowledge through the Prakaranas. These Prakaranas are good handled. Tomorrow you choose to also study one more stream in depth. we will already have been prepared to take up from where to go and where to branch off or where to go for more deeper efforts. So this roughly was the way one Shastra can be mastered and all other Shastras one can be aware of, so that he is not off the mark, but he will consult a person who is expertising or who is concentrated on that angle more for his sake, for his purposes. Okay. I think roughly this is the kind of response from my end to your two streams of questions.
So I was told that the Mimamsa, Nyaya and Vyakarana are the kind of the basic things that everybody should learn. Is that meaning, again, is that also dependent on?
That's only in the Shastra level. See, in the Vedic level, this does not help you. So in the Vedic level again, see, Panini Shiksha has to be known. Basic Chandas have to be known. And some amount of Rit, Yus and Sama have to be known. So we had this Upayukta Adhyayana. See, Vedas do not become understandable just by the Shastras. Because we do not have proper examples shown exhaustively. That is not the purpose. Whereas the Veda Adhyayana is assumed for a Shastrajna. Today, because of the delinking, because of the compartmentalization, we are facing the difficulty. Vyakarana is not able to explain rules related to the accents of words in Panini's grammar also. Even in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, the simplest example is the very first sutra. Uchchairudattaha, Nichairanudataha, Samahara Swaritaha. It begins actually with this samnyas and paribhashas in the Kaumudi also. But Uchchairudattaha is not satisfactorily explained by grammarians to students unless they have the background of mantras where Udatta, Anudatta, Swaritas are used with effect, which is actually helped by Panini's grammar. And if that is not there, I have myself seen at least 4 or 5 different teachers teaching grammar, and 2-3 of them being proficient in Vedas also. Definitely, those with the Vedic knowledge, when they teach such action-related ones, they are very effective and the students are able to comprehend well. So, Shastras assume a person to have some basic Vedic knowledge. To help that, these have come. And there also there is a difference between Vyakarana on the one hand and Nyaya and Mimamsa on the other hand. Those two are Upangas. Nyaya and Mimamsa are Upangas, whereas Vyakarana is a direct Vedanga. So, if you see the first statement in Mahabhashya, what is the Prayojana of Vyakarana? He uses Raksha, Uha, Agama, Laghu, Asandeha. These are the 5 purposes. Raksho, Agama, Laghu, Asandeha, Prayojanam. Then Raksha means Rakshatham Vedanam Adhyayam Vyakaranam. This is the statement in Mahabhashya. So the very first purpose, if you ask me, he gives 17 quotations, and from there he explains why Vyakarana should be learned. Very first of them has these 5 prayojanas put together. And among them, the very first prayojana given is Rakshatham Vedanam Adhyayam Vyakaranam. So it is a Lakshana Shastra. Lakshya is Veda. So today we have a scenario, either separately Lakshya is learned or separately Lakshana is learned, rarely together. That is when neither are able to appreciate the other's importance and relevance or the connection. Okay, so it's not right in that sense that these 3 are alone. See, these are used for profession today. If you have a degree in this, you have a vacancy, you have a professorship available. I don't find a professorship in Rigveda today in any place, nor in Shiksha or Kalpa or Nirukta. It's simply because they have not been so popularized for want of strenuous efforts in learning them. Okay. But we need to bring the balance back. That is why these 14 Vidyasthanas are at least to be known or to be recognized. That maybe there is something wrong fundamentally, so we are not able to achieve optimal results.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So I think we are right on time.
Close today. Yeah. Close today. Yeah.
And